This is All About Home Construction, and here's your hosts, Terry Cannell-Beck and Randy Blake.
That's right. Good morning. Happy Saturday. That's right. Good morning and happy Saturday. Thanks for listening to us All About Home Construction here on WATA. It's going to be a beautiful day. That's right. Randy Blake in the studio, not in the studio, rather, but in the rock and roll kitchen at the VFW. Going to call us in any minute here, so stay tuned for that. But meantime, don't forget All About Home Construction, of course, every Saturday morning right here on WATA and on the podcast All About Home Construction, so you can listen to it multiple ways. And then, of course, obviously, as Randy Blake is at the rock and roll kitchen, then clearly the rock and roll kitchen is happening at the VFW right now. Good morning, Randy. What's going on, buddy? Hey, you there, Randy? Good morning.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, man. How's the rock and roll kitchen going?
Man, we're ready to rock and roll. I got putting another batch of chicken in. We got bacon, pancakes, sausage. Goodnight Brothers is now furnishing our ham for our breakfast, so
nice.
That helps out a bunch.
Well, cool.
The first customer, we already got 2 people here ready to eat. Come on out and join us here for an inspection. Well, you got to pay $12.
All right, that's cool. So, get on over there to the VFW this morning. Randy, of course, over there fired up the rock and roll kitchen this morning. And,
I'm sitting right now.
I like the idea of some country ham. That actually kind of hits my spot right now. But,
hey, we got quite a few people here this morning.
That's cool. Good stuff.
Dave, he's making this, golly, what do you call it? Strawberry shortcake.
Sounds good.
And then we got the ugliest dish in the county.
But the tastiest, right?
Yes, the French toast casserole. I looked at that and I thought, what the dickens? Well, I didn't say that, But it is a good meal. And, we've added something else too.
Oh yeah, what's the new thing?
Cereal for the kids.
Sweet.
And 6 to 12 is $6, and 6 and under are free. So, it's the time food is high, and we're not going up on our price at all. So, like I said, with Goodnight Brothers donating the ham, next month we'll have old-timey bacon because they're going to donate smoked bacon.
Yeah.
And it's good.
I don't know if you've ever had their smoked bacon, but it's really good bacon.
And this is the first too. I've made a lot of sausage in my life, so today's sausage I made for biscuits and gravy.
Nice. That's cool. Well, good, man. I'm glad you're over there having some fun, and of course all the listeners can get out there the next couple of hours, and you guys will be there and feeding people. And get
till 11 o'clock.
That's right, till 11. You can get your good
brunch. It'd be a good time for all you farmers to come and eat breakfast before you get in the hayfield.
I know, it's that time. I saw some people rolling hay yesterday, actually, and I was thinking about, I wonder if Randy's getting ready to roll it out himself.
I rolled a couple yesterday, then I had a breakdown, so I'll finish it today.
When has a farmer ever went into the hayfield and got all the way through the process without having one breakdown?
It don't happen much. I mean, it does. Don't get me wrong. But, every piece of... It's like I was trying to explain to a guy the other day. He said, darn, how do you tolerate this? I said, how do you take a beating from a piece of equipment?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean,
any type of farming equipment is under harsh standards.
Right.
And
Oh, I get it. Yeah. And that's, just any kind of equipment like that is rough. And running machinery is just keeping machinery's running itself and that kind of thing. And
about like your daddy in the mining business.
Yeah.
You know, I bet he was the quarry business, totally having to work on equipment to keep it running.
Yeah, well, any kind of machines that run consistently and that commercially, I guess you would say, right? I mean, even farm equipment. But you got one thing about farm equipment too. You think about is it sits for the winter, you know, and so for the wintertime, even if you put it under shelter, like it's sitting out, and then. You know, now all of a sudden it's getting used, but not just used lightly. It's getting abused. And, I mean, just riding around on the hayfield itself, just riding up and down the hay is not easy on it. And then you actually make it work. It's a double whammy. So, yeah, no, I get it, man. It's everything like that.
Well, you know, I generally, in the spring of every year, I just let stuff sit and idle, you know, equipment and stuff.
Yep.
But like you said, that they sit, and a lot of times bearings really don't go dry, but they will. You need to get a little more grease on them before you throw the power.
Yeah, they kind of stiffen up a little bit. I mean, and eventually they'll seize up. I mean, that's what makes them seize up over years and years of just sitting. So yeah, just to get them moving again, get everything lubricated and working again. And belts are not, they dry out and same sort of thing. So yeah.
Chicken. Yeah.
But well, cool stuff.
Yeah,
so.
we got chicken too today. So
chicken, that's right. Nice.
Yeah. Put it back on. Well, you know, I got to commend Dave. He's done a good job of fighting it while I wasn't around.
That's cool, man. Well, so yeah, that's cool. And then of course tonight's karaoke, right?
Yeah. Hold on, I'll tell you what karaoke is.
Monsters and Magic.
Monsters and Magic. What Dave said.
All right. That's cool. Have to.
How many flyer we?
Have to check that out. I'll be at the soccer game though, so maybe after the App FC game I could swing over there and celebrate a victory. Yeah. Well, cool.
Well, come on. Oh, you got to go to that game last week, didn't you?
I did. Last weekend, Leslie and the kids surprised me as an early Father's Day gift. Sunday morning, I didn't know we were going, and we ended up going to Charlotte for the United States men's soccer game, one of the friendlies leading up to the World Cup next week. So, yeah, got surprised on last Sunday, got an extra soccer game in, so that was pretty cool. Got to go down. I was like 4 or 5 rows back, right behind the goal. So it's good stuff, man. It was fun times.
I don't really know if they won or lost.
We won that game. It was a friendly, so there was a lot of like substitutions and getting some extra guys in, trying to work out like who's going to make the starting roster next week. But yeah, we won. Ended up being 3-2. It should have been 5-2. 2 goals got called back, but that's the way the ball rolls, right? So yeah, good time, man. Good time. And then of course next weekend will be the World Cup. So yeah, got to rock and roll with the World Cup here in the United States. So.
Well, Corey, that young man didn't get enough stuff there. All right.
So, of course, Randy Blake at the Rock and Roll Kitchen at the VFW here in Boone. Breakfast this morning, so get on over there and, hey, he'll put you on the air, too, if you want to go over there and talk to him and ask him some questions.
Yeah, we got that strawberry shortcake. It's pretty good.
That's cool. Well, speaking of asking you questions, Randy, I'm gonna take a break. When we get back, I got some listener questions for you. How's that sound?
That'd be great.
So, well, cool stuff. All about home construction. Again, get on over to the VFW. And hey, we'll get your questions on through Randy too. Thanks for listening to us. We'll be right back.
Calling all hungry heroes. It's time to fuel up for the day at the VFW's all-you-can-eat breakfast. That's right. Every first Saturday of the month from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., you can enjoy a heaping helping of crispy bacon, juicy sausage, perfectly cooked eggs, golden hash browns, biscuits and gravy, and so much more, only for $15. Whether you're a veteran, a family member, or just a friend of the VFW, you're welcome to join us for this delicious tradition. Come share stories, laughter, and good company while you fill your plate with all your breakfast favorites. Don't miss out on the VFW's all-you-can-eat breakfast every first Saturday of the month from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. See you there.
That's right. All about home construction here on WATA. Randy Blake at the Rock and Roll Kitchen at the VFW. And it sounds like there's a big crowd there, Randy.
And run a proper supply now.
I'm here.
Good. Sounds like there's a big crowd behind you. That's cool.
There is. We got a lot of people working.
Nice. Well, good stuff.
Hey, how you doing, Kevin?
That's cool. So, Randy at the Rock and Roll Kitchen. Hey, get on over there and, you can ask him some questions too. I got some listener questions that we've been saving up here. And, so asking Randy some of these and thought we'd talk too. And, Randy, I've thought about, I've kind of got these, a couple different ones, but I grouped them in a couple different categories. And so what do you say we start outside? How about some landscaping questions this morning?
You doing the radio show from here?
Right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go right ahead.
That was fun, buddy.
So Randy, so the question is, talking about landscaping, what's the best way to improve drainage in the yard without actually completely redoing or regrading the property? What's a easy, not expensive fix when it comes to drainage in your yard? Keep the water away from the house.
Well, that's a hard one, but what you can do is you can rent a ditcher. If you don't want to hand dig it.
Yep.
And then that way you can put a 4-inch line in. Most people don't think about it, but you don't necessarily have to put a French drain in. But you can put a solid.
Right. Well, I've always wondered, there's just so many. When you go look at the drainage pipes, there's so many. You got the corrugated, you got the the smooth, and then some of the smooth has like the holes in the top or the bottom, and there's always this debate, like, where do you put the holes? Like, so what do you do when you get
your holes down?
Yeah. So
but, I prefer the rigid pipe myself.
Okay.
And the reason I prefer the rigid pipe is because the corrugated will catch what an engineer told me one time was the biologics from the leaves and stuff, and fill up in the French drain. So if you just take it and put a rigid pipe in, yes, I know it's more expensive, but that way every time it rains, you're counting on your the rain to clean your pipe out.
Right.
And get away from your house. I see a lot of these contractors, they put the downspout in, put the equipment in, or not the equipment, but the pipe, and then they just drop it 4 foot behind.
Yep.
Or 4 foot away from it. You can't do that. And that doesn't accomplish nothing. That can create erosion.
Well, that's what. So my house, that's what we've got on the one side. It's a pretty steep bank that drops off. About 5 feet, 6 feet from the house, it drops back down off the bank, and you can see where that pipe comes out, and it's essentially a ditch line now. And the grass is grown. Don't get me wrong; it's not like eroding away. But when I was mowing, it's like it's a pretty big, deep little ditch, really. That comes off straight from that pipe, straight, because it's a pretty steep bank and it goes straight down.
Well, that's what you don't want to do is erode your bank.
Right.
Well,
that's
yeah. Code calls for 2 inches and 10 foot away from your house. You can't necessarily do that from all the time, but you do want a way for it to get out. Because if you don't, then you're going to wind up calling Tar Heel Basements, jack your house back up.
Right. Right. Well, that's the key, right? Is to keep that water away. And so drainage problems though in the yard. If it's a low spot in the yard, what's your thoughts on going back? And again, I'm not talking about against the house. I'm talking about like keeping that, of course, water away from the house, but just a low spot in the yard itself. What's your thoughts on coming back in with topsoil and reseeding and all that stuff? Like when do you figure out at what point you come back over it versus just patch it, I guess?
Well, you got to do it. So you can go use regular potting soil if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning.
Morning.
Georgia, I'll be here.
And you can do that. Go to your local landscaper, because your local landscaper, like over on 421, we got quite a few landscapers that have topsoil. Mm-hmm. Or you can order topsoil through them.
Right. The
right
cool
now, the music is temptation.
The cool thing about ordering, like getting that good topsoil, is if you get it from a reputable place, it's been sifted through, and so you're not going to get rocks and things like that in it. And so you can smooth it out and clean it, and fill in those dips and holes.
They have a sifter there that they're taking all the rocks out of it, and I know Jamie, my daughter, went over and got some topsoil, because I know you're into raised beds pretty good,
right?
So that's what they're doing, is they're doing their garden out of raised beds. And by the way, Jamie's garden wagon is on 194 up from Violence, 421 there, and that is a donation wagon.
Nice.
For people to get organic vegetables. And, but now, cotton, which we've had cotton on the air twice, cotton into these quail eggs now.
Love it. That's so cool. That's cool. But yeah, topsoil is a good thing to go in, and what about aerating the soil? I mean, this wasn't really a question, but you made me think about it. Like, what's your thoughts on going through the yard and aerating the soil, maybe reseeding it?
Well, if you're going to reseed it, go with fescue.
Mm.
Something that's got deep roots.
Yep.
We generally go and put ryegrass down first. And then we fescue and rake it in, because the ryegrass will come up in a hurry. Okay, right. Even in dry weather, you won't have to worry water it. And then the fescue, once it takes over, fescue's got roots that can grow 3 foot deep.
Right. Yeah. So, well, that's cool. Well, there you go. There's a little off topic. A little sidetrack rather, but yeah, that's a good way to improve drainage of your yard. So, all right, let's stick with some more landscaping questions here. Should you use mulch, gravel, or pine needles around the foundation of the house? Is one of them better or worse in terms of like moisture problems? So what's be your worst? Mulch, I agree. Mulch is the worst. Okay. And again, not to go too deep in the weeds here, but if you got something like mulch, then you increase the chance of bringing in or attracting stuff like termites and ants, right?
Yeah, that can be a big one. And this year, ants are a big problem. We're seeing. We're working on a house now that has, and the worst damage I ever seen from black carpenter ants.
Right. Yeah. I know we had a show. Those of you who want to listen to podcasts, you can go back and listen a couple weeks ago.
When you looked at it, it looked like termites. And then the damage because of the powder and stuff.
Yep.
And I'm really surprised there wasn't any powder post beetles in it, because they really get into whitewood when there's moisture around.
Right. Yep.
But there wasn't. But the infestation was enough that we had to tear that little mud room down, or in the process of tearing it down so we can fix it.
So you like do you like gravel?
Yeah, I prefer. Yeah, but one thing people need to remember is they need to put that mat down.
Yes.
The weed mat.
Yep.
And like they put in the gardens. I talked my uncle into doing that the last couple of years he's in his garden. That way he didn't have to hoe his garden.
Yep.
I did run the rototiller in it every year and then put the mat on it. But if you put your mat down, put your shrubs in, mountain laurel, plants that are accustomed to the environment around here, make sure they're a couple feet off your house. We've talked about that in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So
there you go. Well,
did
cool.
I lose you, Terry?
Nope, I like it. Sounds good, man. Tell you what, let's take another break, and we'll come right back. All about home construction. Sound good?
Yes.
Are you looking for a sawmill dealership that can provide you with the quality equipment you need to get the job done? Look no further than Blue Ridge Sawmills. We offer the full line of Hudson sawmills and sawmilling equipment, from portable sawmills to skidding winches. At Blue Ridge Sawmills, we understand that every project is different, which is why we offer a wide range of sawmilling services. We can help you from everything from finding the right mill for your farm, hobby, or even your business. We also offer a variety of sawmilling supplies, such as blades and debarkers, so you can get everything you need in one place. If you're looking for a sawmill dealership that can provide you with the quality equipment and the service you need, then come to Blue Ridge Sawmills. We're here to help you get the job done. Call or visit our Cana, Virginia store at 276-755-3833 or our Asheboro, North Carolina location at 336-964-8304.
That's right. All about home construction here on WATA and on the podcast. Randy Blake at the Rock and Roll Kitchen at the VFW here in Boone. You there, Randy?
Yes, I am.
All right. He's at the kitchen. He's cooking breakfast, and he's also talking about all about home construction. I like it, man. I like it. So I got some more questions for you to throw at you, and a little, nothing too hard. I'm not going to trip you up or anything. These are actually pretty good questions that's come in. Of course, if other listeners have questions, all about home construction at gmail.com throughout the week, if they want to shoot us an email, or of course the Facebook page, all about home construction, and you can send us some messages through there, and we will answer your questions on the air on a show just like this one. Or if you're in Boone this morning for the next half hour until 9 o'clock, you can come over to the VFW and you can just ask Randy in person. And of course, he's going to be there later on. So if you don't want to go on the air, you can ask him and we'll answer him next time. So good stuff, man.
We've actually had people driving down the road listen to the show and come in and eat breakfast.
There you go. We appreciate that on both accounts, and so get on over there, and that'd be a great time to do it today. So, all right.
I appreciate everybody coming out.
I love it.
Matter of fact, this year I got two new toys I got to buy. I want to buy me a new grill for my steak night. Then I want to buy me another fryer.
Nice.
June, the meal in July is going to be for the auxiliary. Most people don't know this. The auxiliary is the big backbone behind the veterans.
Right.
So we're going to be doing the French fry then.
All right. Love it. Love it. So.
Sorry, didn't know if you could hear that or not, but I had to put more chicken down.
Love it. I hear it. Hear it frying in there. That's awesome. All right, let's this one actually I saw this question and thought, well, you know what, I will add this to the mix here, and it's ladder safety. So when you're talking about ladders, ladders when you're climbing on the roof, is the question is like, how do you not damage the guttering? So
well, that's a hard one. They make attachments to go on your ladder that will fit on the shingles and keep you off the gutter. If it's an absolute must that you got to get up there, up into your gutter, and we've used this before, most gutters now have hidden fasteners.
Right.
But they don't have the ferrules like the old gutters with the nails.
Yep.
But we keep ferrules around so we can actually, if we climb up there, we can actually put them in the gutter itself to keep the ladder off.
Okay.
And
but
another thing we've done, we have extra metal roof laying around, is we actually have what they call gutter straps for metal roof that fits on top of the panel, and we can slide those in there so it makes it sturdy so we can get on it. Okay?
Right.
And but the attachment that you can buy from Lowe's, Home Depot, Amazon that keeps your ladder off the gutter is an important part.
Okay.
Now, one thing about ladder safety is now, whatever height you are, the ladder is not supposed to be any closer than 1/4 of the weight, the height, or any further out from 1/4 of the height.
Right.
See, that's the safety factor that is established by OSHA.
So it gets that angle, so it's not too steep, but it's not kicked out enough that it's going to fall out.
Being in construction over the years, there's not many houses that have a level lot.
No.
Okay. So you're always better to dig the dirt out than it is to put like a piece of 2x6 underneath your ladder.
Yeah. A rock.
Yeah, rock. That's the same thing. But most people don't realize that rock. As you go up and you're moving, the higher you go up that ladder, the more pressure you're putting on that foot.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know. I laugh at that because I've been really guilty of doing that myself.
I've rode a couple ladders down.
Yeah.
And where they've been on a steep bank and they in a hurry and not doing what I'm supposed to do. And because on a steep bank, what I'll do is I'll drive 2x4s behind it.
To keep it wedged, I guess.
For moving.
Yeah.
That's one thing, state of North Carolina now, they don't want people to use ladder jacks. They want people to use scaffolding.
Right.
And, that's a little more time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
OSHA's the same way.
Yeah.
Like our insurance really doesn't cover anybody on a ladder jack.
Mm-hmm.
But you take and set up a scaffold, that's time consuming. So that's a cost factor that most homeowners don't take into consideration.
Right. Well, those are those are the worries, and there's all the time. I mean, if you can look at the news, and it seems like all the time throughout the nation, there's someone that's injured, like severely, critically, or even killed with accidents that happens to ladder. Leslie and I were talking about an instance where a guy was fell about 10 feet off the ladder and killed him. Ended up dying from the injuries, and it's like it's just tragic because you don't think about that when you're doing the work and you're up there working on it and stuff, and it only takes one little slip like that, and it's not good.
We were on a job and a guy was putting a ridge cap on the house. And this is before harnesses were mandated. So he rolled down the roof, fell off the shed, fell about 8 foot, then he fell about 12 foot and broke his back.
Yep.
So job safety is something that is important.
Right.
And my coming up to be 39 years, August 17th, and I've had one insurance claim.
That's cool. Well, and another thing that we, when it for homeowners when it talks about ladders and ladder safety is don't do this when you're at the house by yourself. That's not a good time to go clean out the gutters. And
another thing too is pay attention to what your ladder is. Most people don't realize the colors.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go with a black tip, but go with a yellow. Don't go with a green or a red. Yellow is intermediate. Is the start of low commercial. Blue is the next load rating up. Then black is total commercial. And they are quite expensive, the ladders, but that's because they're for use. So think about that. You don't need. Is your life worth that red tip or green tip?
So
you want to save a few dollars?
Yeah. So the tips match up to the ratings in terms of like light use and all the way up to heavy use, I guess you'd say, right?
Yeah.
Well, and don't step ladders. You know, a lot of people will have one of those, and they'll use that to climb on the roof, and and so you've got that top. That's not really a step. That's actually a shelf. And if you ever look at it, it actually most of them say like don't step here. But I've
well, you can't legally you can't use that top shelf.
Yeah.
Which how many times have we done it?
Right, all the time. But I've seen people. I've been guilty myself of climbing on the roof and using that to climb on the roof, and that's. You got to just think about safety, I guess, is where I'm trying to go with this. Sometimes we get in the moment and we just got to get done, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So.
No, it's not. And that's what we try to. And you don't know how many people that go into this business, not just homeowners, that aren't prepared for safety.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard for people starting out, but you got to try to maintain your safety.
Yep. Cool.
As you said, the life you save might be your own.
Exactly. Yeah. It's cool. Well,
what am I missing?
There we go. That's some ladder tips for you, and then of course. Tie it back into the landscaping is if you keep your plants away from the house enough, you can not be forced to put it at the ladder where you don't want it or the angle you don't want it. In other words, think about that when you do your landscaping. So.
Yep. And the drainage we hit on the call.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one.
So, well, cool.
Dave's jamming out in here. Can you hear the music?
I love it, man. Rock and roll kitchen. So, well, cool.
It is. Dave's frying him.
All right. Well,
he's in the 50s now.
That's cool. All right. Well, let's move into a little bit here on the inside. General home maintenance, I guess you would say, is how often should a homeowner inspect places like the attic, the crawl space, and while we talked about ladders, let's talk about the roof. How often should a homeowner actually go up and inspect these sections or crawl down in the basement crawl space?
Don't make a box, Yankee.
Well,
No.
your attic is more important. Your roof's important too. But you can generally see your roof from the outside walking around your house.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know the year that your roof was on, you know that you shouldn't have to worry about it till it gets 15 years old. Right. As a rule of thumb, some of the shingles don't last more than 12 years up here because of the elevation change.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's one thing I really hate was we went to fiberglass shingles and they just don't have a lifespan out of it.
Right.
And one of the biggest, excuse me, had to have me a drink. I'm getting dry there, run that fryer. One of the biggest problems we have with people installing shingles is they don't read the manufacturer's specification on how they're supposed to nail them. Have you ever drove down the road and seen a shingle slipping on the roof where the under part is turning loose?
Yeah.
That's because they didn't nail on the glue line.
Right.
And, now that they've changed the codes, some of these shingles have to have 6 nails in them to meet the 150-mile-an-hour wind load.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. So when it comes to the attic and the crawl space, though, I'm kind of in the spring and fall kind of territory. Would you agree, disagree? Thoughts on that? In other words, go check it in the spring. Go check in the fall. That way you're getting the big weather and climate changes.
Right. I agree with you, man. They're not, especially in your attic. You're not really worried about the heat if you do it in the spring, do it in the fall. One of the things that, we went through a time period in the 90s where we put blown-in insulation in.
Right.
Okay? go in and check your attic if you got blown-in insulation. You really don't have to check it if you got bad because it's automatic R38.
Mm-hmm.
But if they didn't put the baffles, in the end of the rafter tails,
Right.
then the wind can actually blow your insulation off the drywall. And that can cause a condensation effect and start mold actually growing up in the wintertime in your roof.
Yeah.
Or in your attic. The blown insulation doesn't really attract mold at all. It will not hold it.
Right.
But the drywall will attract.
That's the thing, right? Is the stuff around it will. So yeah. Exactly.
The wood, or in my case, where I don't have a piece of soffit up, the blackbirds.
Yep. Exactly. Love it.
Well, every spring, I promised myself I'm going to put that piece of soffit up. And, I'm like the cobbler. My kids don't have shoes.
Yep.
Sometimes it's hard to fix your own house when you're fixing everybody else's.
I get it. So, well, cool. Well, let's take another break, and we'll come right back. All about home construction. Get on over to the VFW and see Randy Blake. We still got time to ask him some questions. Thanks for listening to us. Obviously, by listening to this podcast, you see the value of All About Home Construction. Well, by joining our listener supporter community, you're not just tuning in, you're standing with us as we are able to support and fuel our passions of the construction industry. As a listener supporter, you'll enjoy exclusive perks, including hearing your name, or maybe even your business name, on our show. So please go to our Spotify website. The link will be in the show notes, and join. You can join for as little as $1 one-time fee, $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever you think you can afford. Every single penny helps to keep this show going as we can continue to grow and do lots more things. Thanks a lot. And again, more importantly, thank you for listening to this. That's right. All about home construction. Happy Saturday morning. Randy Blake live at the Rock and Roll Kitchen in the VFW here in Boone. He'll be there till 11 o'clock, but you got 15 more minutes to get on over there and ask him some questions to get on the air. So cool stuff. But sounds like you got a big crowd there, Randy. And again, what food you cooking again right now besides that chicken?
Well, biscuits and gravy. Now, this time I made the sausage for the gravy. Dave always makes the gravy. So eggs, bacon, ham, Goodnight Brothers furnished the ham, hash browns, strawberry shortcake. We got new coffee. Last month I started a new coffee, so they drank 20 cups last month. So today we started with 4 cups.
Nice. Good coffee, good country ham, and all the other fun foods. So get on over there and fill up.
Happy birthday, Dave. Well, you better go back there and eat double.
Good stuff.
Well, the veterans come in. Today's his birthday.
Randy, that's happy birthday. So. All right, asking some listener questions. And again, you guys can shoot us an email, allabouthomeconstruction@gmail.com, or on the Facebook page, All About Home Construction, and we'll get you so that we have the next show. We can put you on like this, and or you can call in, or of course, if you're at the VFW, you can ask Randy some questions. But all right, let's move to some plumbing questions. How's that?
Well, I'll try my best. I'm not a licensed plumber, but I can try.
That's fair. A slow drain in the bathroom sink. Before you call the plumber, what's a good DIY troubleshooting? What do we try?
Personally, I take the trap off. Okay. Most people don't realize the amount of hair that goes down your sink drain.
Right.
It will get past.
And I wondered if they did invert.
And because I have to take the trap off from time to time because I got an old sink that doesn't have a plunger in it, or not a plunger, but a drain cap in it.
Yeah.
And every now and then I'll drop the toothpaste top down through there, so that stops it up a little. So, but it will always, especially if you shave.
Yeah.
you know, that's a big hair buildup. Definitely not like the kitchen sink where it gets a lot of grease in it.
Yeah. Well, that's me. You know, I've got a bunch of girls, especially, and with lots of hair, and so I have been known from time to time to take that trap off as well, and clean it out, and I mean, if you do it right, you know. Most of those are only on, especially with the PVC these days. Like most of those are just on there hand tight, maybe a little tighter, but it's still pretty easy to undo those. And you know, typically you can take that little trap off and then run it outside to the water hose or something and clean it out pretty easy.
Yeah. Be sure to put your hand underneath it, you know, because it's going to have what?
Yeah.
Cup of water in it, cup and a half.
Yes.
And so get your pan under. And those are compression fittings. That's the reason they don't have to be so tight.
Right.
Because the minute you start tightening them down, you know, they're at the angle. I don't know what the angle is, but probably about maybe a 45, maybe a 50-degree angle.
Right. And so they clamp down.
You know, you don't have any pressure going through it, just the gravity of the water itself. So that's the reason you don't have to have so. It used to be they had them out of brass. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen them where they screwed together?
Yeah. Yep.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, that's the thing with the modern more PVC stuff. It's a lot easier. It's not a big deal to change that out. So, yeah.
No, it's not. And, you know, once you do your bathroom faucet, then you can do your kitchen faucet. Most people don't realize the same thing is the trap will actually catch the grease. If you put grease down it, that's where it's going. That one will be a little harder to clean.
Right. Well, that's yeah. And then, of course, I mean, the ideally you don't want to put grease down, but, I mean, I know even the cleanest kitchens I know will end up getting a little down from time to time.
Well, you know, like here at the VFW, I keep rolled hand towels. Any pan that we have with grease, we wipe it out before we'll even wash it. Keep any grease getting into the city system.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, good stuff. All right. Well, what about chemical drain cleaners? I mean, I know it depends, I guess, if you're on a septic or you're not on the septic, but let's take over. Let's start with just the drain pipes themselves. Are those cleaners bad on the pipes themselves?
No, not really. They're not going to face the pipes, and you're not going to put enough volume down it to hurt your septic tank. But there is one thing that most people like Drano. When you put Drano in your this. People have a stopped-up toilet, they put Drano in it, and it foams, okay? And by that foaming, that's how it's trying to move the blockage out.
Right.
Or even your trap in your sink.
Yeah.
Leave it alone for a while. Don't think that more is better.
Yes.
Because believe it or not, if that works on down into your trap, whether it's in the toilet or a sink or anything, and then it works, goes to work and it gets active and gets blocked from behind, you know, from the residue blocking it back, it will blow your toilet off the flange.
Right.
Most people don't think about that because, well, it ain't quite working. Let's put some more in there.
Right.
But the Mr. Plumber, it does all right, but you can use that, any kind of drain over like that, but EPA's made it so it's not as bad. You can't drink it, but the thing about it is it don't work like the chemicals out of the 60s and 70s.
Right. I tell you, though, when it comes to the sinks, you know, especially when I don't want to take the time to take that trap off, and I've got, you know, like I know the kids have hair or something, the wife has hair down in the sink. One of the things that I like to do is just old-fashioned science experiment, you know, make the volcano. And that's
vinegar and baking soda.
Put the baking soda down in there, pack it down, so to speak, in there. You know, not pack it, but pour it down in, make sure it gets, you know, try to get it down in you know, as far as you can, and then vinegar, and you can see it, and you can see the stuff sometimes, just the gunk and the hair. You can see it breaking off the walls and getting pushed up and around, and sometimes you can even reach down and I like to use an old toothbrush or something and kind of like clean it out, I guess you would say. But it's amazing what that vinegar and baking soda will just break loose.
Well, it will. I mean, that does a great job because I use it myself.
Yeah.
And I always put the vinegar in my hot water, get my water boiling first, then put my vinegar in it.
Yep.
Then dump it on the baking soda.
Yeah, so it kind of dissolves it quicker and gets you more of an action or a reaction, whichever it is. So, yeah. And then you add food coloring and you tell the kids, come look, and there's a volcano in the sink.
Well, I texted Bill about the breakfast, and he said it sounds good on the radio today.
Love it. Well, Bill, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate all the other listeners out there. That's good stuff. So, all right. I think we got enough time for another plumbing question here. And all right. So if you're doing some home repairs on plumbing, PEX, PVC, or go back copper, like, how do you know what to use, or do you use whatever you're taking off?
Well, with today's, are they called shark bites, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
And they're quite simple today. Do not get the plastic one. Get the brass ones.
Yeah.
And you just cut your pipe off. You might have to spend a few dollars to get you a pipe cutter. Now, if it's PEX, now you're going to have a special cutter.
That kind of
you're not
grips
going to cut it with your pocket knife. Yeah. But then you can put that shark bite on it. I believe that's what it's called. And then you can cut another piece of pipe and put it in between it. Shark bites on each end, and there it's over with. Right. It don't leak. And you can now also make a tool that you can put on there and take them apart. And now the state of North Carolina, from what I understand, recognizes them as a plumbing fix.
Okay. So going back and repairing is really doesn't. In other words, you don't have to go back with the same thing, and so you can. What would you go? So you can go back with PVC then, so you don't have to have special tools to cut and crimp and all that.
That shark might go over copper.
Yeah.
Go over PVC. Go over PEX, and the white PEX is the best PEX out of all of them. So.
Right. Okay. Well, cool stuff. So. All right, all about home construction. I think I got time for one more, and this one's more of a bonus fun question for you because, I like tools, and we haven't done a tool show, so we may have to do a tool show. It's been a while since we've done one, but what would you say is one tool that every homeowner should own that they probably don't have? So I'm not counting a hammer. I'm assuming that most listeners probably has a hammer, or they know they need to get a hammer. I'm talking about what tool does every homeowner not have but probably should?
Just the toolbox. Basic tools, ratchets. Anything goes in your box. Your square, your knife. Today. Nobody will use a regular screwdriver. They use electric drill now because you can buy your bits and stuff better.
Mm. Yeah.
Just basic, not necessarily basic shop tools, but just basic tools. I don't know who the animal was at the water.
I'm going to say, assuming that people have a toolbox, I'm gonna take it and say the one tool that they don't have that they probably should is a voltage tester.
Oh, that's a good one. You're generally not going to put that in your toolbox.
Well, that's
channel lock.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yes, or not necessarily a voltage meter, but a test receptacle plug.
So you know, yeah. So you know if you've turned that breaker off or not.
Yes, that's right. And now that. They make a plug-in attachment that you can put in the plug and push the button, and it will trip your breaker.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have your breakers listed in your box. I've been into people's houses, and they'll have 20 breakers and there's nothing tells you where they are. You know?
Yep.
So that's the tool that will help out a bunch.
Well, there you go. I don't know. I think that's the most overrated tool or underrated tool rather in my box.
And you
so
can
to
buy a meter. You can buy a meter for $10.
Right, and I mean that's I know people have mixed emotions about like Harbor Freight and stuff like that, but I like my little Harbor Freight voltage meter.
Well, Harbor Freight is getting better on their tools.
Yep.
Central Machinery, I think.
Yeah.
Chicago Electric was where they got a lot of their tools from.
Yeah.
The only difference in their tool and the high dollar tool is the windings in the armature.
Right.
They just don't have as much copper in it.
Well, and then when it comes to tape measures, that Pittsburgh tape measure it feels better in my hands than some of the others I have to buy at one of the box stores.
Well, we talked about that on the air about people have forgot how to read a tape, even though they learned how to read one in first grade.
Yep.
Everybody grew up with a plastic ruler.
I'm with you.
And the United States hasn't changed since we've been on the standard. Now, believe it or not, I did have a tape at one time that had metric on one side.
I had one of those by accident. It like one side of the top had metric or standard, the bottom had metric, and you don't know how many times I would. I hated that tape measure. I hated it.
Well, I got so sorry. I bought me a vernier caliper that's computerized, so I can do millimeters, I can do thousandths, and I can do it in fractions.
Love it.
I was checking a hole the other day, and it was 29 1/28. And so you have to really get down and think about your rule, because you take your rule 16 divided by 2 is 30 seconds, divided by 2 is 64, 128,000.
Well, Randy, I'm gonna have to cut you off because it's time to end the show. So, all about home construction here on WATA. We appreciate everybody out there listening to us. And Randy, enjoy the rock and roll kitchen. And we'll talk to you next time. Sound good?
Yep.
All right, man. Enjoy it, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you, and bye.
That's right. All about home construction. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to All About Home Construction. We air every week on Saturday mornings on WATA in Boone. Please like this podcast, comment, share it. Hey, let everybody know where you found it. Thanks for listening.